You're now rocking with Ring Kings Boxing. Much love to the fam. Appreciate you for another installment of Ring Kings Boxing. I'm Big Q. And coming into this thing, some very good news that was reported by ESPN on a fantastic welterweight unification that we've all been talking about for the last several years. As we were watching the welterweight division and seeing that eventually Errol Spence and Bud Crawford were heading to a crash course. Of course, Errol Spence diligently walked toward. He was able to get the fights that he wanted to get. He was able to get Ugas and get him out of there. I mean, listen, man, Errol Spence is a very talented fighter. I love his game. Terence Crawford and him will make magic in the ring. I'm really, really psyched about this, that it has finally got to a point where we would be able to see these terrific fighters, go toe-to-toe in the ring. And let's go over this article right here, fam, from ESPN dropping the science, saying that sources are saying that Errol Spence and Bud Crawford are closing in on a deal for an undisputed welterweight championship fight in October. This will be big, and this will be the first time in a while, fam, that we've got unification at the welterweight level. At long last, Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford are on the verge of a summit meeting at 147. This is Mike Coppinger of ESPN dropping the science. Spence, who holds the 3 welterweight titles, and Crawford's the owner of the 147-pound belt, are closing in for a deal for a fight in October in Las Vegas for undisputed welterweight championship, according to ESPN sources. Now, the boxers are still in negotiations, and there is no agreement yet for the fight, which would be presented by PBC on a pay-per-view. So there you go. So, I mean, and then, of course, this is a couple of things that were said. It's, quote, "I'm free to do whatever I want," Crawford, who's 34, told ESPN in late April. "There was nothing standing in the way from us fighting. There is no promotion company that's blocking it. There's no wrong side of the street. There's no nothing. Let's see who's the best welterweight in the world is," end quote. Now, Crawford's ESPN's #1 pound-for-pound boxer parted ways with top rank after a 10-round TKO of Sean Porter in November, which, you don't see very few people stop Sean Porter. Terence Crawford stopped him, man. Stopped him and then retired his ass. So, I mean, Crawford is a guy that, man, listen, he's a guy that you got to watch out for in the division, man. And listen, depending on which perspective you coming out, we can make a case for both of these guys. But it's so close. And with Terence Crawford, what I like about Terence Crawford is his versatility. The fact that he can fight orthodox or southpaw. He, like when in the fight against Kell Brook, you seen that Kell Brook was actually having some success against Terence Crawford until Crawford was actually then to switch his style and then kind of throw off Kell Brook and get him up out of there. So in the ring. So at the same time, man, you look at Spence's fight, his power and what he was able to do is against a guy like Ugas, where he just beat Ugas up. And if you watch Ugas fight, he's usually the brutal. Spence beat him up in the fight. So, I mean, and then the heart of Errol Spence with the car collision, flipping out, being tossed from the car, being in the hospital, coming back to boxing and fighting his way after that kind of life-threatening scare. Man, let me tell you something. That's the heart of a champion. So to have these two great fighters in the ring, possibly, man, and this is something that we've all been looking for quite some time. Terence Crawford is a phenomenal fighter. Errol Spence is there as well, and man, let me tell you something. It's going to be lights out. I wouldn't be surprised if, when this thing finally gets done, man, this liable to be a trilogy, man. These are two fighters at the top of their games. And then toward the back end, this is the statement fight that Bud Crawford has been looking for since he jumped to the welters, and that Errol Spence been dominating it for a while and then walking through the best welters in the division. I mean, I don't have to kind of lay out all of the fighters, the Sean Porters, the Garcias, and all these guys. Who he beat. So I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's just really terrific that we finally get to a point after all of the back and forth, all the bullshit, that we finally could be able to see these guys get into the ring in October. Like we said, they're still working on kind of getting it through and getting these guys together and making sure everything. But they've got a venue at Las Vegas. We know that the month is October, and we know that they're fixed in on that. So that's a lot of information. And then, of course, the key point is the monetary compensation. And is this different from any other thing that we've seen about Bud Crawford and Errol Spence, them coming together and joining at each other? I think there is no, this fight happens because there is no other place for either one of these guys to go. There's nobody else to fight. Errol has all of his belts. He has 3 of the belts. There is no other place for Errol Spence to go outside of just moving on to another weight class. So this fight gets done. I really do think it gets done because there is no other street to turn on. These guys in the collision course. So great facts right here, fam. Really excited about the potential fight in October. Them have to get the money together, but I'm telling y'all, man, these guys, if you can see, there's passion between and a common respect at the same time. But let me tell you something, this fight will be lights out. Would not be surprised one damn bit if this is not a trilogy. But anyway, that's gonna do it for this episode of Ring King Boxing. Like I said, I appreciate y'all. Please feel free to hit upon the like button, man. Hit the hell out the like button. Hit the subscribe button and make Ring Kings Boxing one of the best in the business, man. Also feel free to share the show's links on your social media stream with other boxing family members. I'm Big Q chiming in, and I'm holler at y'all later. Peace.